Good evening. Good evening and welcome. You are tuned in and watching the Zone Blitz. This is the weekly webcast produced by NFL Female. I'm Sharona. Sharona's got some news tonight. As you guys know, I have been the official Titans fan reporter for NFL Female for a couple of years now, and I'm happy to announce that I'm going to be covering the entire league, the whole NFL for NFL Female. So now I get to say that instead of the official fan reporter for the Tennessee Titans. I'm the official NFL fan reporter for NFL Female, and I'm joined by some of my other NFL Female sisters. We're going to talk about the NFL playoffs, talk about Ballgate, and some coaching changes, and then we're going to have some hot topics at the end. But I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Sonja. Sonja, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I am Sonja. I am the official fan reporter for the Detroit Lions for NFLfemale.com. I have an announcement, too. Dominic Raiola got let go by the Lions. And there was a little parade at my house.
We should have a party.
We totally should.
We really should. We should have a party.
We should.
We're joined by two of our other NFL female sisters. We've got Pamela Michelle and Lisa Johnson, and we're happy to have them on to help us talk about a big NFC championship, not NFC, but NFL championship weekend, conference championship weekend. It was very exciting on Sunday, well, at least until the Patriots got to play. And then, it became not so exciting. But so, Lisa, let me bring you in first and let you tell everybody who you are, where they can find you. Lisa, can you hear me?
See?
When Lisa and I get together, madness ensues. It's madness, madness, madness. All right, we'll try to get Lisa back in here. Pam, I am so proud to bring you in and let you tell everybody your wonderful, new, exciting news.
Yes, thank you. I'm Pamela Michelle. I am the official fan contributor for the New York Giants for NFL Female, but I recently got a job working for WEEI in Boston for a show called Planet Mikey as their resident textress. So I get to deal with all the perverts. Yes, that's my official name. I am the textress. And I get to deal with all of the texts coming in and stuff, so I get to see all the perverted things that everybody wants to say.
Awesome. Oh, that sounds like that.
It's actually very fun.
Now we're definitely going to have to get some good stuff out of this. We want you to save up some of the better ones and come back on and let us know what's going on, because I can only imagine screaming that stuff. Last night for basically 4 hours, I got to talk about deflated balls, shrinkage, and things that happen to someone's junk when it's cold. So, I don't know how you guys walk around with those things.
Oh.
So it was a good time last night.
All right, Lisa, can you hear me now? Lisa. Sonja, you ask her.
Lisa, can you hear us? She's shaking her head no.
And she's like, no.
Lisa.
There you are.
Wait, can we hear you?
No.
Oh,
I
nice.
can see you.
It's so funny because we had Lisa in here. Lisa and I were chit-chatting. We were just chit-chatting away before we got started.
Yep. And then we got started, and wait, was that you?
Lisa?
Here, drop out and come back in. Because you know it wouldn't be the Zone Blitz without technical difficulties, correct?
Was Pam was on with us last time, wasn't she? Wasn't it Pam and Lisa last time?
Me and Murph.
Yeah, it was her and Murph.
You and Murph.
And then
Okay.
Lisa was on with Brandy and Reggie.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, we're going to get Lisa back in here and let her contribute, because it's going to be a blast when she gets going. But we're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully she'll get her technical issues all ironed out. All right. Conference championship weekend.
Wow.
I was so excited for the Packers versus Seahawks game, and boy, it did not disappoint. One of the most exciting games that I can recall seeing. Pam, where does it rank in terms of excitement level for you?
Um, I actually thought it was a really good game. It was a frustrating game with some frustrating calls at first to me, and
which ones were frustrating to you?
Honestly, the first series that Green Bay had where they got towards the goal line, and I just really was a little bit disappointed in McCarthy's decision to just take the 3 instead of going for it being half of a yard from the end zone. I understand you take the 3, but to me it was sort of a beginning of the game, but I thought that kind of set a little bit of the tone of the game, just because even if you didn't make it, you had Seattle at the 1-yard line. You let the defense do the work, and then hopefully you get some decent field position out of it, even if you didn't make it. I was a little disappointed at his decision not to go for it. I felt like they left points off the board.
All right, Lisa, girl, can you hear us now?
Hello?
Hello?
Lisa.
Hello.
Can you hear us? I can hear you for like 2 seconds and then you fade out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Lisa. All right, Sonja, let's get you in here, girl, and let you talk about it. And I know that it was a disappointment that your Lions were not in the game, and a disappointment for Pam too. Her Giants, kind of struggled this year and didn't make the playoffs. But Sonja, how did you feel about this game?
At first I was really, really, really shocked. It's on right behind me, guys. That's why I keep turning around. It's the replay of it. And Green Bay, I think, is still up 16-0. So don't tell them what happens at the end.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, exactly. But that was a really, really, really good game. Do I think they left points on the board and made some questionable calls? For sure, especially at the end. I think they started playing conservatively and just running the ball, and it's like, no, these are still the Seahawks. You still kind of got to run, and not run, but you still got to keep it moving. And you play to win the game, you play to score points. So let's get some points. And
there we go.
There we go, Lisa. We got a Lisa.
Yay!
Oh, yay!
Craziness.
All right, Lisa.
Oh,
you pop in here right quick and tell everybody who you are.
Lisa.
And then we lost her again.
All right, guys. When Lisa comes back in, just stop talking and let her talk.
All right. I'm going to take the opposite view, and I know it was 16-0 going into the half. The Seahawks really hadn't done very much on offense. Their offense was very much struggling. I think that, and I understand the first, when they were so close to, getting that touchdown. I understand people's frustration with that. But when you're going up against a very, very good defense like the Seattle Seahawks, you're not assured of getting that touchdown. And I think that I can't disagree with Mike McCarthy's decision to take the points because, again, and it's very speaking of deflating, it's very deflating to get that close, to get down there and walk away from a drive like that without any points at all. And so, I think that it's a tough call. But again, we're talking, they were leading up until, it was even, 16-7 and then 19-7. Green Bay was leading, from my perspective, what caused them to to lose the game was their inability to stop the Seahawks.
At the end, yeah, of course.
At the end.
Yeah.
So, the last 6 minutes of the game, and Russell Wilson had a dreadful game up until 4 minutes left in the game. The Russell Wilson to Jermaine Kearse connection was not paying off at all.
It didn't pay off a few times, and it was so frustrating because it's like I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, catch it with your hands, not with your chest. Don't alligator arm it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was getting so frustrated with that.
Yeah, it was not entirely Russell Wilson's fault. Now he did.
No.
He tried to force a throw in. All of his interceptions were to Jermaine Kearse, and so, but when the game came down to it, when the game came down to the wire, did he show up or what?
Yeah, he did.
He was the reason that they were losing the game, and then he ended up being the reason they won the game. I attribute that a lot to the heart that he has.
I think special teams won that game.
Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Okay, I'm done. I'm back on my phone again. I just don't understand it.
No, what did you say, Lisa? Did you say Marshawn Lynch won that game?
No, I said special teams.
Oh, special teams. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. One of the more drama-filled moments was that at that very end, the Seahawks with about 4 minutes left, scored to make it basically a one-score game. I think they were down by 5, and they kicked.
Mm-hmm.
They attempted an onside kick, which was successful. But it was successful because Green Bay really messed up on their coverage of that, and Brian Bostic was the guy responsible, and that he feels absolutely terrible.
Awful.
But if you're not on the hands team, you don't need to be going after the ball.
No.
True.
His job, he was supposed to block. He wasn't supposed to be, going after the ball. And Pam, you said Jordy Nelson, I believe, was the guy who was all set to field that.
Yeah.
Nordy!
Jordy Jelson.
Exactly. Oh, goodness.
So, Lisa, would you have taken, if you were Mike McCarthy and you were facing a very, very, very stingy Seattle Seahawks defense, would you have gone for the touchdown, or would you have taken the points?
I think on the first one, I would have gone for the touchdown to try to set the tone. That was the only thing. The second one, I probably would have taken the points because to me it's a little different. And that was a big thing. I mean, it looked like it was going to turn out perfectly for him taking the points, and then it ultimately ended up, being bad. So the way Green Bay's defense was playing, I wouldn't have had a problem going for it on that first series. First and goal. So just to set the tone of the game, but that's why they pay him the big bucks to make those types of decisions. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he took a lot of heat for that, and a lot of people thought that the Packers playing too conservative was what lost in the game. But I just don't don't agree with that at all. I think that especially in a big game like that, and I understand the setting the tone and all of that, and I can definitely understand why people would feel like on that first drive that they should have, but It's always good to get those points. Points gets you wins, and of course, the more points you get, the
It's a championship game too. I mean, it loser goes home, and it's just and that's something I think that was playing into a lot of analysts' minds. It's like there is no tomorrow, so you need to take what you can and go with it. So, but like I said, I'm used to ultra conservative down here. Trust me.
It was like half of a yard, though. That was what my problem was with it. It wasn't even a full yard, and you were just pinning them back so far, even if they didn't make it. I mean, I just felt that it almost would have sucked the air out of the Seattle defense a little bit, in just the stadium in general, if they would have like just went and got that touchdown.
Yeah, the fans were pretty quiet.
I was about to say that was the quietest I have ever heard that stadium.
It was pretty bad.
They were very, very quiet until there really wasn't much. The defense was playing pretty well, but there really wasn't much to be excited about until toward the end of the game. One of the things that happened was Richard Sherman getting injured. Now, there were some people who thought that he might have been baiting Aaron Rodgers, but it does look like he was legitimately injured. Did you ladies have any questions about whether or not Sherman might have been kind of faking it a little?
My only question is why you didn't go after him. That would have been my first play. I would have burned that site up every single play from then on.
Exactly. Greg and I were watching the game, and he's like, "How do you not test Sherman right now? He's literally out there almost
holding one arm
in his sling. Go after him."
Exactly.
You go after him. Yeah, but I didn't think he was faking it at all. I think he really, was injured, and he wasn't going to come out of that game. Earl Thomas as well. They weren't coming out.
No, they weren't coming out.
They weren't coming out. So I think these next couple of weeks, obviously, that's going to be a big topic of discussion. But I think even if they do start to heal up a little bit, they're not going to be 100%. So you still got to go after them, I think. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Richard Sherman came out today and said he was definitely not going to miss practice. I don't miss practice.
And that's fine. You don't. But
you might have to a little bit here. I mean, I don't think there's any shame in that. I wonder
what his coach thinks about that. And
no shame in that.
The strength and training guy. Yeah, I mean, you got to give your body a little bit of time to recover, especially when it's a sprain, and so it's not terribly serious, but definitely needs some time to recover from that. Real quick, there's not much to talk about game-wise. We'll let Pam kind of spearhead this a little bit since she's now our Patriots girl. But
God, that sounds bad.
The Patriots really just put it to the Colts, and it didn't surprise me at all. I never really thought that the Colts were going to be in that football game. So that game didn't surprise me, but there was some drama. We lost Pam. There was some drama associated with that game, and now we're dealing with a new New England Patriots cheating controversy. That's the deflation, the ball deflating, and kind of an interesting thing. You've got a lot of Aaron Rodgers weighed in on it. Lisa, how do you feel about that?
Well, I just don't think it's a coincidence that every single time we have a cheating scandal, the Patriots are at the head of the table. I mean, come on. It's been, I don't know if it's spearheaded, and how it came off as being deflated. The thing about it, when you look at it, it was such a lopsided game. I mean, if it was like a one-score game or a field goal game, it'll hold some more water to me. But like I said, nerds could have been playing out there with a Nerf ball with the Colts. They weren't winning that game. So
this isn't like the taping scandal where they were winning field goals.
I mean, it reminds me, honestly, of baseball, a pitcher, does it not? They'll do every dang thing they can to doctor that ball and try to get away. I think football is any different. I think you always look for that edge. You're always looking for that, foot up.
That's what I think the Patriots do. They try and, push it as far as they can.
Exactly.
With, how far can they go without getting cut? I mean, Bill Belichick is just like a weird, crazy savant like that.
But the thing that's always bothered me about it is that they don't need it. I don't think that they need it, and so they're out there putting a target on their back unnecessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So Pam, we know that you're covering the Patriots now. And you had to sort through a lot of text messages last night. I'm sure
I did.
I'm sure Patriot fans think that Ballgate is ridiculous.
Yeah, they were actually calling it Deflategate, and so they do think it's ridiculous. I mean, there's just so many factors and variables that go into this, and that's what kind of has been anybody with half of a brain's point, is that they don't need to do this, but at the same time, you have to wonder what Belichick will do to get the edge. Like, how far will he go?
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's not something that's necessary, it's just something that it sort of makes you wonder if it's even possible, plausible, and to me it's just, you look at these things, and they have the most ridiculous articles about how the TVs outside of Gillette Stadium, are supposed to be for the fans who are tailgating to watch, but conveniently they are facing towards the Patriots bench, which obviously gives the Patriots a better advantage to see the replays to throw the challenge flags. Like, somebody literally wrote a whole article about the TV.
It's called home field advantage, baby. It's called home field advantage.
Well, no, that does happen, and it happens.
It does.
I mean, Vanderbilt here, college team here, Memorial Gym. They definitely have that kind of advantage with their bench and whatnot. So yeah, those kind of shenanigans definitely do go on, and there's the visiting team doesn't always get the benefit of replays when they're at another stadium, and so stuff like that goes on. Now listen, we know men love to play with their balls, am I right, Marshawn Lynch? But I think that you have to question. I mean, and I understand that it can't, Aaron Rodgers said he actually likes to overinflate his, so, it's kind of a preference thing, but I agree with Pam. I think that you have to wonder, it does make you wonder what Bill would do, to what lengths he would go to try to win. They've been
I think he's already proven how far he would go. Don't you agree? I mean, he's gotten caught one time. I mean, and like I said, with the Ravens game, he was flirting with a couple of the rules, but to me, that's just looking for the edge up, and that's one thing that you always need to know when you play the Patriots. Expect the unexpected.
Well, how different is that from the Colts, who regularly, try to get an advantage by rushing people onto when teams are trying to make their substitution,
right.
Getting their players in and trying to take advantage of that, which I think is just the lamest shit ever. But I mean, you can't get a first down legitimately. Let's get it by penalty. That's always griped me about the Colts. I think that is lame.
Unless you're dancing in the background and you're 2-minute drill and the guy's dancing in the first sack, I'd have snapped that ball in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, that's a different situation. Yes. That's a completely different situation. That happened with the Packers, didn't it? Who was it that ran? Who was it that ran down? No, it was the Raiders.
Yes, the Raiders.
Yes, the Raiders that night they beat.
Beat Kansas City, but they were so close not to beating.
They were so close. Yeah.
Thank God for that kicker.
Well, you know who else was good? Is the same thing. Is Peyton Manning trying to catch? He'll snap that ball in a heartbeat if he sees people running off the field.
Yeah. He started that with the Colts, of course, and the Colts still do it too. So, okay. All right, let's touch upon some of these coaching changes. It's just weird. To me, it is one of the weirdest off seasons that I can remember in the NFL. What's his name?
Oh.
Elway. John
Elway.
Yes.
John Elway completely cleans house with and we talked about this last week with his coaching staff. I think Leora was onto something when she said, Sonja, when she said that he might have been unhappy with all these coaches who were looking outside the game and interviewing.
I fell.
God.
My deflated ball is not holding up my phone very well. Oh, shit. See,
Lisa,
see? The bogus.
I had
the
nothing to do with it.
Do not work. Do not work.
Lisa's playing with balls again. Oh, Lord.
Back on it, Lisa.
I know it, right?
So, let me ask you, ladies. Lisa, I'll start with you.
Okay.
What do you think about all these coaching changes? And for you, what has been the best and the worst coaching change?
I think the best one's yet to come. I think with Atlanta, with Dan Quinn, I think that's going to be a really good hire. It pains me to say, but I honestly think the Bills with Rex Ryan, with the Bills defense that they have, that's going to be legitimate for him. But you got questions with of course Rex Ryan, because once again he's going into an offense with no quarterback. Same situation in the Jets. He has no quarterback, no offense. It's a defensive-minded coach.
Didn't they hire Chan Gailey too?
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, just a little bit ago. Yeah, they announced it. The one that makes no sense to me is the Jack Del Rio hire. Yeah. He's a loser. I mean, he has a losing record. And what crap do they come out with? Oh, well, his family has season tickets, and he's been a Raiders fan. Okay, so that's going to make him a winning coach because his family has season tickets and he's a Raiders fan? I mean, that one makes no sense to me.
He's a company man.
Have we tried that yet? We don't know if that's going to work.
I was sitting there, and I was just like, I felt like the Dolphins with Ted Ginn when they drafted him. Well, you don't know Ted Ginn's family. Well, who gives a crap about his family? I don't care about his family. His family ain't catching the ball and running to the sidelines. But, when you sit there and you look, at the hires and stuff like that, the Kubiak thing, my God, did you guys not think that was the first that he was the first guy who came to my mind when John Elway cleaned it? The other one that really surprised me is Mike Shanahan with Elway. I really honestly, is there something going on with Mike Shanahan? Why are teams scared of him? That kind of bothers me a little bit because, you go from a coach that's won, 2 Super Bowls and AFC championship games to the guy can't even get a job with the quarterback of the team that he coached in the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of wondering what's going on with Mike Shanahan to me as far as the coaches go. But right now, I think that the Dan Quinn hire is going to be really good for the Falcons. So, like I said, and I think the Jack Del Rio one is the stupidest one.
All right, Sonja?
Smartest one, Cougs to Denver. And the strangest one is the guy in San Francisco, and I don't even know his name.
Tremblay or something like that?
But I don't know his name. Yeah. That D-line coach.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, first of all, I don't understand how Mr. Harbaugh left and how they just let him walk. Secondly, I don't know. Like, this guy, he's got no track record. He's got nothing really to prove or, to go off of, but they feel as though, this is a good thing. So, hey, he gets the Rod Marinelli treatment, so hopefully he does well.
Pam, what about you?
I'm with Lisa on the Raiders just because I really thought that Soprano was going to get that job because he did such a good job with Derek Carr, and he seemed to have the team heading in the right direction. They seemed to be responding to him. I thought that he was going to really get the job, and I don't really care for the Jack Del Rio anyway. I really just don't. He might do a decent job with them. I just worry about my boy Derek Carr. That's all. I'm very high on him. I think that out of all the quarterbacks, he's going to end up having the best career when all is said and done. I really like him as big upside, but I actually am really interested in the John Fox to Chicago hire. That's the one that intrigues me a little bit more than all the rest.
Why
because
is that?
I want to see how he handles the quarterback situation there. Just because, garbage time Jay Cutler is fantastic for fantasy football, but he's just not fantastic for the team.
Yeah, he's got a big price tag. It's
He's too soft.
He's walking into a situation that he did not create, but he was also leaving a situation that has somewhat the same potential, because I think that Denver's got a real decision on their hands with Peyton Manning and what they're going to do. He's due $20 million. I mean, it's not really that dissimilar of a situation when you consider it two big quarterback names, and you're not sure what your future would be with either one.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Why don't you like Jack Del Rio?
It's a loser.
Yeah, I just really
no record.
I think that he makes a better coordinator than he does a head coach.
Okay. Well, nobody's really won in Jacksonville since Tom Coughlin, and part of it has been their very bad track record with general managers too. And so
but you got to come up with a better. You got to come up with a better line than his family's season ticket holders, and he's been a fan all his life. Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of lame. That's pretty.
I mean, that's kind of like a 10-year-old's reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we hired him.
I'm with Sonja.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Sonja. I don't understand anything that the 49ers are doing.
No.
First with their decision to part ways with Jim Harbaugh, and now hiring a guy with no head coaching experience, nothing to really show for. I mean, you would think they could have done better. And the fact that they apparently could not do any better makes me wonder whether they were having difficulty attracting a new head coach, considering how they treated their very successful former head coach. So I think that Balky and York had, if they're at all smart, and I think that they are, they ought to have some soul searching going on right now, wondering why they had such difficulty attracting a better candidate.
It seemed like they jumped the gun a little bit to hire somebody too, because it's not like they waited for the season to completely unwind, because I mean, you still do have quite a few coaches out there that are candidates that are coordinators too. I just feel like the 49ers jumped the gun and almost just to put something in place to make themselves look like a more stable organization.
Or like they had already figured out and just did the Rooney Rule stuff just to do that. Which, that is ridiculous. That's get me going on that one. But the same thing. It's it's the same thing. It's almost like they already had this planned out to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that probably my favorite. I like the Rex Ryan hire by the Bills, but my favorite hire is his former team, and that's the New York Jets. I think that they made a fantastic move hiring Todd Bowles, who is the former defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. Very much a guy who was up and coming. I knew that he was going to get a head coaching job. I was hoping and praying, that he might go elsewhere, but he's going to have that defense playing as well, or maybe even better than Rex Ryan, and Obviously, the quarterback situation is less than what you would want, but sometimes a new coach, a new philosophy can help a guy out. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends out.
There's nothing going to help Geno Smith out. He's history. He's going to be holding a clipboard in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that he's going to light things up, but playing a little bit better would be
a first start.
Or falling flat on his face would be very good too.
Yeah, would be a good start. One of the more interesting things to me too is that Adam Gase looked like he was a hot name, and now
he flamed out.
Nothing at all. So,
didn't you think that he went after? It seemed like he was hot until Elway dismissed everybody. And then it was like, you are free to look for jobs elsewhere. Then all of a sudden, he just plummeted. Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of wonder what John Elway might have had to say behind closed doors, buddy to some, because these guys talk. We all know that. They talk, they communicate, and how you handle a situation with one team is going to get communicated to other teams.
Right. It's just the whole way that thing went down, though. I mean, when you looked at the press conferences, and it's like, we all know, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I'm sure there's bickering, there's arguing, debating. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff we don't know. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, what I came out of that press conference with John Elway was that him and John Fox, and I'm gonna say right now, I think they disagreed on Peyton Manning. I think Fox was ready to move on.
I think he was.
And I got off of that Elway.
It was painful to watch Peyton play. The last.
It was, right?
Yeah, it was.
It's been painful.
It has been. Go out with some dignity.
My heart aches
Not a stretcher.
for him. Just no. It's like it's sad. It's just sad because I think that he kind of understands his limitations and that it's kind of over in his brain, but his heart just does not want to let go. He's not ready to let go.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. Poor guy.
I know. I can't. If he comes back,
that game against the Bengals, that oh man, that was just awfulness.
And his throws. I mean, look at the ball. There's no velocity on the ball whatsoever. They look like wounded ducks.
Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah, I can't blame John Fox if that was his thought process. I will tell you right now that if I were the coach of the Denver Broncos, I would thank Peyton very much for his contributions and his service. Respectfully suggest that it's time for him to hang them up, and if he's not willing to accept that, I think I would release him and move on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the same thing.
I understand that he's a future Hall of Famer, and he's been a fantastic quarterback for most of his adult life, but at some point it's game over. And I think that I agree. It was very painful to watch Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it was horrible. Yeah. It was horrible.
I was never all that impressed with Adam Gase to begin with, so I was kind of surprised.
I wasn't either.
Because everybody knows Peyton calls his own plays anyway, basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. True.
It is true.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't ask. Before we get to hot topics, I didn't ask you guys this, but I will ask now. For the Seattle Seahawks, if you had to name an MVP from the conference championship game, who would you pick? Pam, I'll start with you. Pam, did you hear me?
I didn't. I actually didn't hear it.
Okay, I said if you had to pick a conference champion conference championship MVP for the Seattle Seahawks, who would you pick?
I have to think it's Russell Wilson. I do, just because the last 4 minutes of that game, I think, showed who he was as a leader. I would pick him. Even despite the interceptions and the rough play at the beginning of the game, I mean, yeah, I guess you could maybe pick the whole defense as an MVP, but I would give it to Russell Wilson, actually.
Lisa, what about you?
I was going to say, is it John Ryan, the punter, who threw the touchdown on the fake field goal?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yep.
There you go. That's mine.
All right. One play, he gets MVP.
It's it, man. He turned the whole game around. The whole game turned around after that play.
All right.
Whole
Sonja?
momentum.
And yep, I'm gonna have to second Lisa and say that John Ryan, my special team, the holder, I think he turned that game around.
Mm-hmm.
And you could even say their special teams coordinator probably, for dialing up that play and calling it.
Yeah.
I think, you could give him
Gutsy
that.
call.
But it was a very gutsy call, very gutsy play. That 2-point conversion that they had towards the end of the
God, it was a ridiculous play, right?
I know.
That was a ridiculous play.
That was ridiculous, and I was like, Russell's not. They got him. They don't got him.
Yeah,
of course not. Exactly.
They don't got him.
They don't got him.
But where was Ha Clinton Dix? All game long, he was outstanding.
Right there.
What the hell was he thinking on that play?
He wasn't.
Oh.
He was probably thinking that they had Russell back, at the
he had to because he.
That's probably what he was thinking, and didn't make that move until it was like, oh gosh. But,
see, for me. That is exactly the reason why it has to be Russell Wilson. And I appreciate what John Ryan did. I think that was, if you haven't read the article, by the way, talking about, there were some very specific set of circumstances that had to come down before that play would even get called. Mm-hmm. And it was a fantastic play. But I have met, watching what Russell Wilson did in the final 6 minutes of that football game was amazing. And I kind of go back and forth between Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch because, Lynch was simply fantastic. They absolutely, the Packers absolutely could not stop Lynch, and he was a big part of the reason why they were able to, to get themselves in a position to score. Of course, he did score. He scored one of their touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I would have to give it to Russell Wilson. I think that he... it was a dreadful game for him, but, it was not – the interceptions weren't entirely his fault, not all of them.
Those were some horrible passes, though. Those were some forceful passes.
Yeah.
And what I find funny, Sharona, is with us talking like right now with Russell Wilson, you're picking Russell Wilson as your MVP. What's really funny is if they had not won that game and pulled it out, we would be crucifying Russell Wilson right now. We would be kicking his ass right now.
It just shows that it just shows how good he really is, though, just because he did what every quarterback in that situation should do. He showed that he has the ability to have amnesia and just forget. And just forget about the first half of his lousy game. Other quarterbacks that could have gotten into their heads, and they could have lost the game because of that, because of just making silly mistakes because they're in their own heads. He wasn't in his own head, and he showed his emotion, and he took some heat for crying at the end of that game. He didn't even cry when he won the Super Bowl.
Oh my God! I almost cried with him. My God!
That was the moment.
I did it. I'm like, ain't no crying in football. Don't go Jay Cutler all the way on us now.
But it was such raw emotion. It really was. It was such raw emotion, and I mean, to me, that's the reason why I'm with Sharona. I really think that he would deserve to be the MVP of that game.
Quarterbacks can win championships.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah.
But I will say this, though, it made me feel a little bit better about next year when the Lions have to go into Seattle and play. And so, I was really kind of scared, and I thought that, Green Bay was just going to get their teeth blown out. But, they show that they can at least perform, and hopefully, the Lions, when they go there next year, if we still have Stu, God willing, then,
And it also shows you all these debates and arguments we had during the season about the AFC being stronger or the NFC. the NFC definitely proved that they're definitely the stronger one. To go championship game in overtime to that crap we watched in the AFC, hands down.
Yeah. Bill Belichick compared Russell Wilson to Roger Staubach. There was very much a Staubach-esque, not in the first 3 quarters, but at the end of the game, it was very much a Staubach-esque performance. Now, speaking of the Patriots, Staubachian, who would be your MVP for the Patriots? It has to be Tom Brady, right?
No, their equipment manager for deflating the balls. Yeah.
That's it. I'm with it. I'm on it too.
High five, Lisa.
High five.
All right, equipment manager. Sam,
what was that?
Do you agree, equipment manager MVP?
No, I'm giving it to Gronk. I think that Gronkowski is the MVP for being able to have the ability to toss people out of the damn club. That's what Gronk does. And, I mean, he's had a good. He started off slow. He's full bore right now, and he makes all the difference in the world on that Patriots team. It's true. I mean, he just has this different level that he's on, and when he's healthy, he brings the Patriots offense to that different level too.
All right, me Gronk, me MVP. All right, I'm okay with that. All right, hot topics. I asked you guys to come up with a hot topic for tonight. So, Lisa, I'll start with you.
Well, I think the hot topic for me has to be going into the game, going into the championship game, and the Pro Bowl being in Arizona. My hot topic is I don't understand why we're bringing the Pro Bowl back to the States. I think that when everybody, I don't know if you guys have seen, it's like everybody's bailing. They've got so many substitutions right now. It is just totally ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And to me, it's like, okay, if you want a Pro Bowl, I'm okay with that. But give the guys some perks with it. Send them to Hawaii, Tahiti. Send them somewhere where they can enjoy. But to play it here, and I'll tell you what, if Cam Wake gets hurt, I'm gonna be pissed. And for Roger Gale to come out and say, well, I want a good game, I want hitting games, which, hey, honestly, that game last year, they was hitting. There was some good, but they're in Hawaii, The Pro Bowl game, it just sucks right now. Now, I'm just, to me, I'm in favor of getting rid of it if this is what's going to happen.
They've ruined it. I completely agree. The NFL has ruined the Pro Bowl game.
It's horrible. So that's mine. I think the Pro Bowl, something needs to change.
I haven't watched it in several years. I think the NFL has absolutely ruined it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Pam, what's yours?
Actually, I was sort of on that. It was just sort of the gimmicky things that they do for the Pro Bowl. Like,
I hate the drafting thing. Don't you? I hate this drafting thing.
Yeah, it's like I think it's kind of ridiculous, and it's so funny because it's almost like it's everybody's secret shame. People say that they don't really watch the Pro Bowl, but when you get the ratings back, the ratings are actually really good for it. Nobody really wants to admit to watching it, but it's probably one of those cases where there's really not a whole lot else on TV. If there's a good college game on, even if there's a college game on, I'd rather watch NCAA basketball than watch the Pro Bowl game.
I think I'd rather watch championship poker than watch.
Yeah, actually, I do like championship poker a little bit better.
All in.
Yeah, they've ruined it. Sonja, what about you?
My hot topic, we had this down a little bit earlier, but my friend Marshawn Lynch and yours, for a second, I thought that he was going to cost his team a penalty. I really did for like 2 seconds. And then I kind of felt bad because I was like, oh, am I being kind of prudish? But no, really, I thought he was going to cost his team a penalty.
Marshawn Lynch is a big fan of his junk.
He is, and I understand. A lot of guys have to make sure that it's not going
there,
Yeah,
with,
it's secure.
Are my balls deflated? Let me check.
Exactly, and I understand, especially in those types of situations, you just gotta make sure. But
Yeah.
I really thought that, and if he had really cost his team, field position, whatever, what have you, I think that would have just been the stupidest move like ever. Thank goodness he didn't. But if that were the case, it would have been awful. So I hope he curbs it in the Super Bowl, because I would really hate for something like that.
Well, the thing is, he won't. He won't.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know. He's not going to.
He's so stuck on himself and that crap after he scored the touchdown where they went to high five him and he's like, shake my hand. You're an idiot. You've gotten too many damn hits to your head. You're an idiot. Be one of the guys. Just relax a little bit. I mean, what is this gimmick he's playing? I mean, really, you got to not high five. You got to shake hands, and it's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. He's a ridiculous player.
It's like he's Sybil though, Lisa, because he has such a dual personality. Because on the field, it's almost like he's Sasha Fierce, and in the locker room, it's just like, don't talk to me. Like, I don't want any part of the media. And he turns into like this turtle who is all reserved and wants absolutely to say nothing. And on the field, it's just,
I just think
it's like a split personality to me.
Right. He got hit in the head too many times. I think he's mental. And then like Sharona said, you know what? Your balls aren't going anywhere. You don't need to grab them every 5 minutes. I mean, do you need some psycho help to analyze that maybe they're not going anywhere?
He's just channeling his inner baseball player.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Because they
maybe he puts
every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he puts his pine tar down there or something. He's got I don't know. I think that he's just quite fond of his junk, and he likes to play with it. And so, it reminds me of a little 4-year-old boy who, just discovered that he's got a penis and just can't keep his hands off of it.
Yeah, that is true. That is
a little perverted.
Somebody
to me, guys,
needs to tell him he's going to go blind.
He's going to go blind. Well, that's why he wears that visor.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Well, hopefully he'll realize that those things are there to stay. They're not going to go away. They might change. They might inflate and deflate, as balls tend to do. But, it's going to be there forever, Marshawn. It's okay. You don't have to keep checking for them. All right. Here's my hot topic. It also sort of comes out of the game, but it is the media's ever-increasing need to be too much, to be extra special, and to actually misrepresent things. And I'm talking about what happened with Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin, if you're not familiar, had a quite epic post-game press conference where he was talking about the haters and whatnot. Well, the transcript of what he said was doctored and not very well done by the ESPN guy who covers the team, and so a lot of people caught that, and they finally got around to correcting it. But what the guy did was throw in a few extra MFs. We're fairly clean on this show. We're not going to say it, but the MF word got added quite heavily to that post-game thing. And I don't like this trend that we have with trying to make things more outrageous and more drama-filled than what they need to be. There was actually an article posted on CBS Sports, which is supposed to be a reputable website, that said Twitter didn't like, the title of the article, and I'm paraphrasing, Twitter doesn't like Andy Dalton replacing somebody in the Pro Bowl. Brian
Tannehill.
That is not legitimate reporting. And when you do stuff like that, I cannot take you seriously. I can't take you seriously, CBS Sports. If you think that is legitimate coverage of a professional sports league, you need to do better.
#analysis.
Yeah, I mean, right? I mean, like, Twitter is a place to gauge anything. So anyway,
y'all see some of the tweets that some of those people put out. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. This whole attention-seeking thing, and people like CBS Sports trying to buy into that just bothers me. But anyway, that's my own little personal rant. All right. Well, the hour always goes by so fast, and we're almost at the end. So let's bring our guests back in, Sonja, and let them. We didn't get a chance to let Lisa really expand on what's going on with her. Now, Lisa is covering the Miami Dolphins for NFL Female and has access to press coverage.
Yes. Yeah, right now, everything is focused around this stadium. The renovations have started. The seats have all been taken out. Pricing structures are getting in. So right now, the main topic down here right now is the new stadium. Everybody's, hyped about it, and, saw some of the...
Were people surprised that Joe Philbin survived?
Yeah, absolutely. Stop. Sorry, my dog's knocking on the door. They were, to an extent. I think they were more surprised that Kevin Coyle's staying, the defensive coordinator. So that came out last week that he was safe. It was already been rumored that he was going to be, because, Philbin's a loyal guy. We've all known that. He's not, he is who he is. I mean, he is, this will be going on the third year now, so nothing's going to change. It's going to stay the same. So it's going to be interesting. So that was the only thing down here last week that started. Right now, like I said, everything's kind of flipped. Everything's kind of quiet now. Because like I said, there is nothing damn thing we can do about it. You can't, if you don't like it, you don't go or support it. It's just like it is, But, it's interesting because I did get the press release on that, the Coyle thing, and that decision was made like right after the last game when they had all the coaches thing, and it just came out now. So once again, it just shows you how hush-hush things are and how, things are being said that we just don't know. Mm-hmm. So, right now, like I said, everything's stadium-driven right now. So.
All right. Well, can't wait to see what the new stadium. Have they given any indication what it's going to look like?
Yes, everything's online. I'm actually going to do an article on it, so catch it on NFL Female. I'm gonna put some pictures up of it. Because
Awesome.
like I said, I just got the whole press release on it, so I've got the whole details of it. And honestly, and it's funny, is when you look at the stadium, look at Seattle. It's kind of very well being renovated over there. The sound system, the sound thing, barrier things are the exact same. The corners have been kind of taken out. The one side's projected higher than the other. And then next year, when the roof goes on, the sound's going to be 3 times what it's going to be now this year. So it's going to be interesting.
Wow.
So, but I'll go ahead and put all the specs on.
Oh,
I can't wait to read your article.
Yeah.
All right, Pam.
Give us some Patriot news, Pam.
Next man up,
Oh, my.
Pam.
Tell everybody
I know.
again your big news and where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Sporty Diva, and of course, I still will be doing my podcast for now, Sports Infusion, which is every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. But you can listen to me on WEEI FM radio out of Boston, 93.7, and we do have a smartphone app for it. You can listen on your computer as well. I am on a show called Planet Mikey, and that is Monday through Friday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. I am the only woman on the show because that's all they need is just me. And I am the resident textress.
Cool, so we can text into the show?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, we need that. We're gonna need to get that text number.
Yeah.
You can text into the show and stuff, and it's actually a very fun show.
Well, awesome.
It's
Well,
sort of like
congratulations again.
Thank you.
Yes,
It's like
definitely.
sports talk radio meets Howard Stern.
All right,
Oh, wow.
Sonja.
Well, that sounds awesome. That kind of sounds like one of our radio shows here back in Detroit. Well, I'm
Yes,
Sonja. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said it's very fun. He's very funny.
Yeah, they are. Those two guys are nuts. Sports, but kind of Howard Sterny. I understand. Anyways, I'm Sonja. My only big announcement was that they got rid of Dominic Raiola, and I was kind of a little bit excited about that.
Just a little giddy about that.
Just
Giddy
a little
about
bit
it.
giddy. Anyways, I'm Sonja. You can find me on Twitter at mom2, 3RN. I keep writing about the Lions. As a matter of fact, I'll probably, within the next few weeks, start something up about the draft because they're all down at the Senior Bowl right now. So
Yes,
maybe
everybody is.
Exactly. So maybe following up on that, talking about some of the players that they've seen there. You can also find me on agoodsportshang.com. Me and the other guys over there just writing about everything sports related. So yeah, those are where you can find me.
All right. Well, I'm Sharona. You can follow me on Twitter at Sports by Sharona. You can find me writing about the NFL at NFLfemale.com, as well as Pro Player Insiders. You can also check out my website, sportsbysharona.com. We'll be back next week with another great episode of the Zone Blitz. Shout out to Liz, as always, for giving us this opportunity, this wonderful opportunity. We'll be back next week. Have a very pleasant evening, and thanks again to Lisa and Pam for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Look at it.